Welcome back. You're here, I imagine, because you want that deep knowledge, the stuff that really works, but without wading through dense academic papers, right?
Exactly. And today we've got something really practical, even though it sounds a bit theoretical at first.
Okay, hit me with it.
We're digging into a piece from Axies Digital called Community Insights to Ad Performance, the Power of Ethnography and Cultural Anthropology.
Right. Ethnography,
Yeah.
anthropology. Sounds heavy. But you're saying it's key for what? Google Ads.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about getting beyond just the keywords and demographics that everyone uses.
Okay, so moving past the surface level stuff.
Precisely. It's about understanding the hidden emotional drivers, what really makes your customers tick, not just what they type into Google.
I get that. We all want to know what truly motivates people. And I guess for a lot of listeners, the big motivation behind using Google Ads is growth.
For sure. It's about scaling, grabbing opportunities, that ambition, that drive for more.
So this approach, this ethnography, it helps tap into those deeper customer motivations to fuel that business growth.
That's the core idea. It connects the why of the customer to the how of your advertising strategy.
All right, let's unpack that. Ethnography, it's about immersion, right? Getting into the customer's world. How does that work in, the digital age? Seems different from living with a remote tribe.
It is, but the principle is the same. Think about all the digital data, clicks, search terms. They tell you what people did. But ethnography helps uncover the why.
Okay.
Why that search term? Why did that ad resonate while another bombed? Surveys can only tell you what people think they think or what they want you to hear.
Ah, so it's like seeing the hidden context behind the click, understanding the journey, not just the destination.
Exactly. It helps you figure out why someone picks brand A over brand B, even if the features look similar,
Yeah.
or why your ad copy just isn't connecting, isn't hitting the right nerve.
Which is crucial if you want, more leads, more customers, more revenue. Your ads need to do more than just show up.
Right, they need to resonate on that deeper level, and often customers themselves aren't even fully aware of these deep-seated needs or influences. Ethnography helps bring those to light.
Okay, I think I'm starting to see the value. Can we make it more concrete? The article mentions some examples, right? Febreze.
Yeah, Febreze is a classic. They sent researchers into people's homes, that's the immersion part, and they found something unexpected.
Which was?
People who used it a lot basically went nose blind. They couldn't smell the everyday odors the product was meant to eliminate anymore.
Huh. So the original pitch, eliminate odors, wasn't really hitting home for regular users.
Not in the way they thought. So they shifted. They repositioned Febreze not just as an odor eliminator, but as, the final touch after cleaning. A signal of, job done, house is truly fresh.
That's clever, turning it into a reward almost, a ritual.
Exactly. That insight probably wouldn't come from a simple survey. It came from observing actual behavior in context. That's the aha moment.
Nose blind. Yeah, that sticks with you. What about Nike? How did this apply to them?
Well, think about their Find Your Greatness campaign. That shift wasn't just a lucky guess.
Okay.
They observed, probably through various ethnographic methods, that showing only elite, superhuman athletes.
Oh.
Well, it wasn't connecting with everyday people trying to get fit.
Right, it can be intimidating, maybe?
Yeah,
Or just unrelatable.
totally. So they broadened the message. Find Your Greatness made it inclusive. It resonated because it tapped into the actual aspirations and feelings of a much wider audience. It was about understanding their perspectives.
Seeing it through their eyes. Makes sense. And Axies Digital used this with a client too, a health services one.
Yes, and this one's really direct for Google Ads. This client was kind of stuck. Performance had flattened out.
Okay.
Through their research, digging into patient perspectives, they realized people weren't just buying appointments or treatments. What they were really seeking was reassurance, peace of mind.
Ah, the underlying emotional need, not just the practical service.
Exactly. So they rebuilt the Google Ads campaigns around that, focusing the messaging on trust, security, those emotional anchors.
And it worked.
Big time. Inquiry volume went up significantly. Revenue started climbing again. They started selling the feeling, not just the function.
Okay, that's powerful. Selling reassurance, not appointments. So this idea of understanding community motivations, the article lays out a few key ones.
Yeah, it identifies 5 core drivers within communities. The first 4 are pretty intuitive, maybe. Then there's a 5th, slightly hidden one.
Let's hear them.
Okay, first is social acceptance. Pretty basic human need, right? We want to do what others admire, fitting with the group.
Sure. Following the crowd, or at least the crowd you respect.
Then there's ownership. This is about letting the community feel like they have a stake in the brand, that their input matters.
Like when brands actually listen to feedback and change things, makes people feel invested.
Exactly. Third is personal connection. Stories, shared experiences. They build way stronger bonds than just listing product specs.
Uh-huh. People connect with people, or at least with relatable stories.
Right. And the fourth is perceived value. This isn't just about being cheap, it's about feeling like you're getting something special, exclusive deals, loyalty perks, that sense of being valued.
Okay, acceptance, ownership, connection, value. All makes sense. What's the hidden fifth driver? Sounds intriguing.
This one ties right back to what we said earlier about business goals. It's aspiration and gain. You could even maybe call it greed in a way, or perhaps just ambition.
Ah, the desire for more.
Yeah. Businesses using Google Ads, they usually want growth, more market share, more leads, more sales, often quickly. It's about achieving something, gaining an advantage.
Okay, so it's not just the customer's aspiration, but the business's aspiration too, in a sense. How does Google Ads tap into that specific driver?
When you understand this aspiration, you tailor your ads. You use the right cues, the right timing, the right emotional tone.
So you're not just selling a product.
No, you're selling the outcome. You're positioning your service as the path to achieving that gain, that growth, that success the customer or the business is aspiring to. The ad becomes a vehicle for their ambition.
Got it. So
Yeah.
the why is clear, but the how? How does a company like Axies Digital actually do this ethnographic stuff for digital ads? What methods do they use?
Good question. They adapt traditional methods. One is participant observation. Digitally, this means studying real user journeys,
How so?
like watching recordings or analyzing data on how people search, what they click on, what they ignore, following their digital breadcrumbs, basically.
Okay, like being a fly on the wall during their online search. Makes sense. What else?
They use things like photo go-alongs and diaries. They ask customers to share photos, videos, or journal entries about how they use a product or service in their actual life.
So the customer provides the context themselves.
Exactly. You get real-world usage insights, maybe find unmet needs or unexpected ways people use things. The customers are active participants in revealing their own world.
That sounds incredibly valuable. Direct from the source.
Totally. And then there are open interviews, not surveys, but real conversations. Deep dives with individuals to get their genuine opinions, frustrations, desires.
And that feeds into the ads.
Directly.
Yeah.
The language people use, the pain points they mention, that becomes the raw material for headlines, descriptions, calls to action. It makes the ads feel authentic because they're using the customer's own voice.
Like taking their words and putting them right back in front of them.
You got it. And they mention a really neat one, scrapbook-style online journaling.
Scrapbook, how does that work?
They analyze these sort of curated collections of online activity, what people save, share, like to find really niche interests within a broader audience.
Ah, like uncovering little sub-communities or hidden passions.
Precisely. And then they can build super targeted campaigns for Google Ads that speak directly to those niche interests. These often perform way better than generic campaigns because they're so relevant.
Finding those hyper-engaged pockets. Okay, that's fascinating. So bring it all back to Google Ads. Why is it particularly good for tapping into that fifth driver, aspiration and gain?
Because Google Ads is all about intent. People are actively there searching for solutions, for ways to achieve something. They're already in that gain mindset, often.
Right, they have a problem or a goal they're trying to address right now.
Exactly. So if your ad, informed by that deep ethnographic understanding, shows up at that exact moment and speaks directly to their aspiration, their hope, their challenge.
And your brand becomes the obvious answer.
That's the goal. You meet them when they're ready, you connect with their deeper motivations, and as the article notes, that builds momentum. It delivers results that compound.
And the flip side,
Yeah.
if you don't connect on that level.
Well, then your competitor probably will. It's about building that deeper relevance that others might miss.
So boiling it down, forget just keywords and clicks. Use ethnography to find the real why behind customer behavior.
That's the core takeaway. Understand those deep drivers.
And then combine that understanding with the power and precision of Google Ads.
Yep. That's the formula they're suggesting for serious growth. Understanding plus targeted action.
This has been really insightful. It definitely makes you think differently about just running ads. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening.
Go for it.
Think about your ideal customer. What are their unspoken desires? What are they really trying to achieve deep down? And how can you connect with that aspiration in a way your competitors aren't even considering?
That's the challenge. Dig deeper.
Thanks for walking us through that. Really fascinating stuff.